I wasn't originally going to do this one. The 2013 specials, there's only two of them. So it's a coin flip. Like, I've already ruled out Night of the Doctor, and I don't really like to cover minisodes, but yeah, just the two things here. And I'm not counting Adventure in Space and Time or the Five-ish Doctors reboot, because they aren't regular episodes of the show. But I guess we should treat this less like a review and more so a discussion on how do we criticize media. The way I try to tackle Doctor Who is that I keep it localized to the story that's being told, and usually I see if it's a detriment to what came before, if there is a retcon. Thing is, it's kind of difficult, because I think Day of the Doctor, for what they had to do, for what they were given, and for, well, what was happening around that time, for all intents and purposes, I think the Day of the Doctor does its job admirably. And I think watching Night of the Doctor immediately before this does sort of give me the sense that, yeah, Stephen Moffat did care about the classic series, and heck, that's why he brought back the Zygons. They were the most popular classic monster that hadn't come back, and yeah, that's really cool. And the Eighth Doctor, yeah. But I feel like the story of the Time War is such an integral part of Doctor Who lore that treating that as the sort of basis for the anniversary makes sense, especially given that the revival, although established, hasn't gone on for such a long time, where it makes it feel like it's just an extension of the classic series. So they had to keep New Who fans on board, but with some appeasing of classic Who. And yeah, there was the old reference here and there, and yeah, I think it does its job well. I think it's very coherent, and I think the story is actually pretty good. Honestly, I'll see how I compare this with Power of the Doctor. I feel like this might be a bit better, but with Power of the Doctor, I feel like what that does also succeeds in what it's trying to do, but this is going on to a discussion that I would rather save until then. I do enjoy all of the characters in this, apart from Clara. I don't think... Yeah, I think she was a bit more of a background. I mean, she had stuff to do. Actually, the thing is, she wasn't really much of a presence, but admittedly, it wasn't as much of an issue this time round. I liked the moment she had with the War Doctor one-on-one, and, you know, I feel like it's a stereotype of me going, oh, everything's great, but Clara, no. Like, because I watched Hyde the same day I watched Day of the Doctor for this. Yeah, no, the difference is crystal clear, but we are still a ways off from Rings of Akaten. But it's not about Clara, so I'm not really as miffed about that. And honestly, the unit plot, great. I think it works well. And everything's set up and paid off in a very satisfactory way. I do definitely think that this is a good Stephen Moffat script. This is probably the best Stephen Moffat script since A Good Man Goes to War, and will remain the only one I really enjoy until Heaven Sent. So, you know, I think this is good. I think this is a standout of his writing of this period where I feel like he kind of gave up. I have one big problem with it, though, and it's a problem I have due to very personal reasons. And I used to love this. as a kid, and I watched it over and over and over. But as I grew up, Series 1 meant more and more to me. It is one of, if not my favourite season of the entire show, and a big part of that is the Doctor's character arc. Now, I don't think the character arc is actually tarnished from a personal to the character point of view. The Doctor at least thinks that it mechanically works out, everything's fine. But the thing is, media, as much as I like to view it in isolation to keep my enjoyment of it, there will always be something in the back of my mind now, retroactively going, oh, but they're fine, mate. Like, that's not good. It's a very intrusive retcon from an audience perspective, because although the Doctor doesn't know, we know now. And it just kind of feels weird. And it's like, usually if I feel like anything to do with a retcon or expansion may diminish an original work, I don't blame the original work, I blame the retcon, or the piece of work that retconned it. But I don't know if I feel like I can call the Day of the Doctor bad. I definitely think this choice was definitely the wrong call, but done in a very good way. I definitely think, you know, it's an anniversary story, have some fan service. And I definitely think having a happy ending to the Time War makes sense to do, and was set up pretty well, and was executed in a very fan-wanky way, but in a good way. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the ramifications of it. So the climax of this story, I have extremely mixed feelings for. The coda with the curator, I actually really like, and it's written well, it's mysterious, but also it warms your heart, and it feels right and natural, and it's another thing worth celebrating, or that adds to the celebration, as does Coal Hill School. Not only, like, and the thing is, Coal Hill School, as much as I'm not really a fan of Series 8, and I really need to rewatch Class. I haven't rewatched it since, like, 2016. Regardless of what came after, at least something came after, so it's like, it wasn't just a one-off reference. I think, ideally, like, I remember Stu Bagful made a video about what he would have done with the ending of Day of the Doctor, and although I think it's a good ending, it's an ending to a very different story. I definitely think a lot of what was set up in Day of the Doctor was inevitably going to lead to that payoff. But at the same time, that payoff that Stu Bagful suggested was much better and celebrated the 50 years much more intensely. Because the thing is, I don't know what about 82 was really celebrated in the Day of the Doctor. Because sure, 72, we've got the Zygons, we've got Tom Baker. Unit, although it was made in 62, still, yeah, you got all that. And also in Moffat Who, well, you've got Kate. In RTD Who, well, it's about the Time War. With 62, it's initially set at Coal Hill School. It's got a nice cold open. And heck, even fans of Paul McGann, at least we got Night of the Doctor. I don't know what fans of... I mean, Coal Hill School, yeah, Remembrance of the Daleks, but that in itself is a reference to an unearthly child, so I don't really see what fans of, like, the 5th, 6th, or 7th Doctors would have had, but at least we have the 5-ish Doctors, so if... that's the thing. It's a case of... I feel like they did a pretty good job, considering. Like... I think the 50th anniversary, in retrospect, was actually really good, and I feel like we've all taken it for granted. I'd be interested to see what you don't like about this episode, because it's an episode that's trying to juggle all these elements in a way that actually produces a plot. It does produce a plot. It produces a plot where, it's the ramifications of it I'm not too fond of, and I can understand why you wouldn't be, but ignoring that glaring thing, putting aside your feelings to that, and putting aside your feelings to the stuff it is referencing, because sure, you may not like the 10th or 11th Doctors, but I think they're done pretty well and fans of those characters will enjoy it. Yeah. That said, what are your thoughts? If you're wondering what I feel about Time of the Doctor, Nick's editing this one, so I don't want to hurt his feelings while he's editing it, so I'm just gonna leave the worst regeneration story of all time out of the picture. But we are finished with Matt Smith's run. I will do a Christmas specials related video in Crown Jewels, so this may not be the last time I talk about the 11th Doctor, or at least an episode about the 11th Doctor. Well, I say about, an episode of his run. But next episode, we will meet the 12th Doctor. And this was about a turning point in my life as a fan where I started to become more cynical. But I do think there is at least one episode in each of the 12th Doctor seasons that I think is amazing and phenomenal. With that said, I have been Matt. You have been a viewer. This has been the Whoniversals, particularly my series of Crown Jewels, where I look at all of Doctor Who and pick out the best bits. And even if there's stuff that I leave out that's better, I'm just going season by season and clumps of specials. You know that already. I'm just waffling. Goodbye.